I am in the winter all my life and I knows it. My bones knows it, too. And, sometimes, as I sit and stare into the fire, I imagine I can see the faces of those few folk that have shared this mountain with me. All o' them, beckoning to me, reaching out. But I ain't quite ready to reach back. Not just yet. But that time is coming, I knows, and who'd you think is front and foremost calling to me from those flames? Why, that hornery Injun that caused us so much grief in our early years. We never knew his true name, but we called him Ol' Hog Face, on account o' his big nose and his never-ending attempts to steal from us. He was from the Absolute tribe, part o' the Crow Nation. Bob, that's my brother, and me, we done chased that Injun off more times than I can recall. He was a big Ol' boy, Ol' Hog Face. One time, he jumped me when I were out hunting and we had a real Ol' tussle. Strong as an ox. But I knew a few Ol' wrestling tricks and I was no pushover. What? Well, I guess you could call it a tie. We was both too exhausted to carry on and just kinda went our separate ways, but I'd say he had a bit more respect for me after that. Leastways, I'd like to think so. Ha! This one'll make you laugh. Not long after we'd finished and moved into this cabin, we damned near suffocated with smoke blowing down our chimney and filling this here room. We rushed outside and, what do you know? There was Ol' Hog Face up on the roof, his head and shoulders stuck in the chimney. We had to climb up and pull him out. Boy, you should have seen his face. Black as soot. His big, white, buck teeth, too. He almost choked to death. He slid down into the snow and ran off, tripping and falling all the way, leaving a trail o' black after him. We two laughed so much, I thought my sides would split. We was still laughing for weeks afterwards. I'd ask Bob if he'd spotted any Blackfeet Injuns when out hunting and he'd reply, "No, but I think I caught a glimpse of a black-face Injun." That's funny, ain't it? What? No, mister, I do not talk to myself. Why'd you ask that, anyway? See, that's the thing with pine. Same with all them kinda trees that grow hereabouts. They smell real sweet when they burn, but they gives off the blackest smoke. To this day, I don't know what that fella thought he was doing, sticking his big Ol' head down our chimney. Anyhows, what do ya think of him being the face that's front of all the others in the flames o' that there fire? Crazy, ain't it? That Injun was a real pain for many a year. Then, one winter, Bob found out that Ol' Hog Face was ill. I can't rightly remember how. He was like us, just him and his family, settled in their teepees, higher up, closer to the top o' yonder hill. They relied on that fella for food, and I guess he weren't that great at hunting, otherwise he wouldn't have come a-stealing from us so often. Anyhows, we felt kinda bad, so's we took some grain, some caribou, some turnips and such, couple o' sack loads. We just dropped 'em in the snow near their settlement, didn't intrude none. But I guess that was like a peace treaty o' sorts, because he never bothered us no more after that, even when he was recovered. If I repeat myself, give me a nudge, boy. I tend to do that a lot. Sometimes, I lose my train o' thought in the middle of a sentence, too. I guess that's what comes o' living alone for so long. But that don't mean I talk to myself, you hear, Bob? Well, he was my younger brother. Joined me up here 'bout a year after I decided to leave Helena, back in '76. I could see the way it was growing, that town, and I didn't like it one bit. Didn't take a shine to the kind o' stranger drifting in. Came up here, just me and my mule and Pinto, my dog. Lived in a tent till Bob decided to join me and we built this here cabin. Don't rightly know how I survived, tell the truth, but, from the winters since, I can tell, now, that first winter must have been the mildest ever. I was a darn fool. Lucky, I guess. Didn't know no better. Anyhow, Bob joined me, long as I promised that we'd build a house. Took us 8 months, all in. Ain't the cutting, the hauling, the trimming o' them damn trees that's the hardest part. No sir, it's afterwards, when the walls are built. The ceiling. Caulking they call it. If you don't get that right, you'll damn well freeze from exposure come winter. Fast as you plug that mud in, out it'll come again if a strong wind blows for it dries. Did I tell you 'bout old Hogface getting stuck? I did, didn't I? Bob? Oh yeah, well he fell foul o' another pair of Injuns, scavengers. He were out hunting and they ambushed him. He was a deadeye with a rifle and killed them both, but not afore he took an axe in his thigh, damn near severed his leg. By the time I found him, he'd bled to death. I could see the blood, like a river, soaking into the snow for near 20-30 yards. Must have been a main artery and he hadn't helped himself by pulling that axe out, but he'd have been a goner anyhow. I guess that was the first time in my entire life that I cried, though it would not be the last. Took me a long time to get over that. Even thought about packing up and leaving. But I didn't. Once a year, I would travel down to collect those necessaries needed, and, sure enough, that town had spread until it had become a city and I hated it. Could not see myself living there or any other place like it. So's I decided to stay up here. When they introduced the land settlement laws, I made up my mind that this would be my permanent home and I took up my full option. 1,400 acres that away. 1,200 this. 1,100 north and south. One o' the best things I ever did. For the last 3 years, every summer, they come, those surveying fellas. I don't pay no attention, let 'em trample all over. They ain't doing me no harm, but, for they leave, sure as the moon is made o' cheese, they come a-knocking and make me an offer. I just reach for my rifle. That's enough for them to vamoose. But, each and every year, that offer gets higher and higher. Don't rightly know what's hereabouts that makes them want to get their greedy mitts on this land, but it must be something real valuable. No, I ain't got no family. When I go, all this, far as the eye can see, will become the property of the absolute family of O.L. Hogface. They don't know it 'cause it's a secret, but it's in the will I done made on one trip to Helena. They've been good to me since, well, I ain't been able to get about. My legs being real bad. Takes them a while to get oiled up of a morning. And my eyes, well, they ain't what they used to be. I can't hardly make you out right now. Regrets? Well, I wish I was better with my letters, that's for sure. I'd buy a paper, every year, on my trip down and it'd take me best part of another year struggling to read it all. If I could read better, reckon I could have passed my time of an evening, in front o' this fire, reading them their books. Leastways, back when my eyes was good, this land is all mine, you know. Best thing I ever did. O.L. Hogface's family still live up yonder. They've grown some since he passed. Now, it's them that leaves food for me, can you believe? They don't talk much, but they've been real good to me and I got a surprise for them when I go. I can't tell you what it is 'cause it's a secret, see? Hey, what do you think about O.L. Hogface being front and foremost beckoning to me from those flames? Crazy, ain't it, the books? Nah, they ain't mine. They was Josie's. Josie? My wife. It were 'bout a year after Bob passed, I'd got so used to his company and I were finding it hard up here on my own. I put an advertisement in the Helena Tribune. What for? A wife, o' course. What did you think it was for? A mule? Any replies? Course I got replies. I might have lived on top of a mountain, but I own the damned mountain. And you see me now, and oh well man, but I was a handsome dude in my day though I say so myself. If memory serves me right, reckon I got 'bout 10 or 12 women apply. Met up with 'em, too. Darn pretty, some of 'em. But I ain't no fool. No sir. I could tell what they was after. Gold diggers. But Josie? She were different. She weren't young and she weren't pretty, but I could tell, from one look, that she were sturdy, a hard worker and had a good heart. Course, after we got hitched, there were plenty o' moments when I felt damn sure that she'd change her mind and turn back, the higher we climbed the mountain on our mules, but she never so much as said one word. Not till we got to the top and she took a deep breath o' the sweet, pure air, looked down below at the view, which is something to behold, smiled, and said, "Reckon this'll do just fine." We was happy. I mean real happy. She made a home out of my rough and tumble cabin, curtains and the like. She would read to me of a night, keep me warm in bed, pull a tooth when needed. But that woman had one big fault, she sure was a terrible cook. Didn't matter what I caught, she'd be sure to overcook it or undercook it, no matter how hard she tried. Beaver, squirrel, rabbit, made no damn difference. That's why I had to take over those duties, else we'd have starved. Ha! Oh, she passed. 10 years ago. Second time in my life that I cried. No. She just got ill and kind of faded away. Yeah, laid me low for a long time. She's buried yonder, right next to Bob, overlooking the valley below. She loved that view. Yes sir, I'd go visit every day. Sit and talk to both o' them, back when my eyes and legs were good. Been a while since I done that now. Did I tell you that I own this land? Did I say it were the best thing I ever did? Well, that ain't true. Best thing I ever did was marry Josie. Best wife a man could ever have, apart from the cooking that is. Her books? Mister, even if I could read good, which I can't, my eyes are so bad now that I'd struggle to pick the books off the shelf, never mind make out the words. Yes. Josie's right there, along with Bob, in those flames, calling me to them. Sure hope that fire don't mean they is down below with a well Nick. Ha! But, wherever they is, they want me with them. Want me real bad, too. But oh well hog face, he's front and foremost. What you think about that? Is that crazy or what? That pesky OL engine, front and foremost, okay, yes, damn it, I'll admit, sometimes, I do talk to people, see strangers, not realizing if they're real or not. But would you be any different if you lived on top of a mountain, for near on 30 years, alone? I am in the winter o' my life and I knows it.